That mentality. That mentality will make him to sit on your head and he'll be ruling you. I'm telling you, in 50 years' time, 100 years' time, that guy will be ruling you, telling you what to do and how to dance to his tune. And all the European nations will help him to see that he achieves what he wants to do. You can never have Islamic State. You can never have Sharia. With 10% opposition, you can never have a Pakistan, Islamic State. They think, what do you do? I says, change them, talk to them. Even now, talk to them. Ya Ahl al-Kitab, ta'ala, come. Ila kalimatin sawa'in baynana wa baynakum. That we come to common terms as between us and you. Talk to them. Reason with them. But we ourselves don't know anything about what Allah is telling us. You don't know what Allah is telling you, how to do the job. He's telling you, He's giving you, this is the textbook, He's telling you how to do the job. But that is not a part of our curriculum. I'm happy to hear, last night I made such a statement and I'm told that you have a Dawah Institute here on your university. I hope you are being taught how to talk to the non-Muslim, how to talk to the Jew, how to talk to the atheist, how to talk to the agnostic, how to talk to the Hindu. You've got to learn. Just knowledge, book knowledge, if you don't know how to impart it, you are wasting time. You are wasting time. University's time, public money, everything you are wasting. Unless you learn this knowledge, how you're going to use it when you come out. And in the meantime, you start using it and see. Try it out. Try it out now. You have non-Muslims around. Talk to them. Reason with them. Take them home for tea. Give them some bhajas and samosas and do the job. Inshallah. Any other question? I prefer question from the floor because people, you see what happens, our students, this is also another thing that you have to acquire. You must learn to stand up and speak. This is, any coward can do this. You know, I've written half a dozen questions and gave my friend and said, look, you send it to me so I can pass time. Look, stand up, that's good. If there's nobody, then we'll deal with this. Okay. If there's nobody on the floor, then we'll deal with this. In the meantime, let's have it from the floor. True. Yes. You see, this is something that is, and puts us on the defensive. It makes us to bow our head down in shame. I give you an example from my own life. You see, I live in Durban, and from Durban there's a town called Stanger, about 45 miles away. And I had some problems there, legal problems. So I used to go there and meet my legal lawyer who happened to be Hindu. So every time when I'm returning, he gives me a lift. For some reason, he wanted to come to Durban, he gives me a lift. And in the car, I start preaching to him Islam. I tell him, you know, how Islam, how beautiful it is, how it can solve the problems of mankind and everything. What we preach to others, look, Islam is great. On the second trip, the guy is telling me, he says, look, Mr. Deedat, you're talking a fat lot about Islam. But you know, I can tell you as a lawyer, I'm handling a case of the Muslims about the Madrasa Trust, you know, a religious school. 2 sets of trustees are going to court, and I'm handling the case for one group of trustees, Muslim trustees. There is another case also simultaneously going on in that town between the trustees of the masjid, and I'm also handling the case for one of those groups. And you tell me Islam can solve all problems of mankind. You can't solve your own petty problems. The madrasa can't solve the problem, and the masjid can't solve the problem, and you're talking about Islam solving problems of mankind. I felt, you know, how do you feel? You feel like a sheep, man. You feel like a sheep. I told him, I answered, I don't know whether you'll agree with me. I said, you see, Mr. Krishna, that was his name. I said, Mr. Krishna, the next time this venerable gentleman comes to you, you know, with the dark patch on the forehead for making so many sujuds, and that Turkish coat, you know, the lamba jha, tum Pakistani coat kehte hain, hum log Turkish coat kehte hain usko, with that long coat, pious Muslim with nice beard. When he comes to you next time with these problems, just ask him one simple question. That, uncle, Haji Saab, have you read the Quran once in your lifetime with understanding? Once. In your whole life. Tum double Haji hue, 5 waqt ke namazi hain, mashallah. Did you read this Quran once in your lifetime with understanding? Madrasa group, any Muslim comes along to you with a problem, just ask him this question, have you read the Quran once in your lifetime with understanding? And I said, you in your life, you won't come across that Muslim. That's the answer. The answer is we are not going to the Quran. Nobody goes to the Quran. We are prepared to die for this book. If this book is insulted, we are prepared to go to war. But nobody is prepared to live for it. Nobody lives for it. Nobody knows what's going on. What is Allah talking to you? What is saying what the Bukhari was reading to you? Nobody knows. It is all for beautification, for spiritual blessing. Sawab, sawab, sawab. And so you're going to get sawab. But the real sawab, the benefit is following instructions. And this is the reason why we find in this position. If you allow Allah Bari Ta'ala to speak to you in a language that you understand, if you understand Indonesian and you can have an Indonesian translation. If you can't understand Arabic, read the Indonesian translation and allow Allah to speak to you in Indonesian. The Urdu speaking people, I say get an Urdu translation. But you people at the university, you must have an English translation for so many reasons. So you master. You master that you can use this as a weapon, as a tool, as an adornment, as a weapon of defense and attack. All this Quran will serve for you. But you have to know what Allah is talking about. What is He telling you? And if you don't allow Him to talk to you, all this is water on duck's back. This is all entertainment. I'm entertaining you all. And at times some great people come along and make you to shed bitter tears too. But it's only for a moment. The real change only comes if you allow Allah to talk to you, and He is talking to you and to me and to every passerby in the street without any intermediary, no Jibreel required. Allah is talking to you without Jibreel. Allow Him to talk to you and see what He does to you. Then this excuse will go, inshallah. You know, our inactivity, our un-Islamic behavior, all that inshallah will go if you allow Allah to talk to you. Like this we hear our sheikhs and imams, mashallah, but allow Allah to speak to you in the first person. That will change. Yes? See, there are laws and laws. There are laws and laws, sets of laws, regulations. Natural laws. You follow certain natural laws, whether you are a believer or a non-believer. Allah's promises is that you must get the fruit. As Iqbal says, Muslim आई हुआ काफिर तुम्हें हूरो खुसूर, तुम में हूरों का कोई चाहने वाला ही नहीं, जलवे तूर तो मौजूद है मूसा ही नहीं. You see, he says, there is nobody among you who is desirous of these huris in Jannah. Jalwe Tur, the glory on the mount, which Musa saw, is here with you. But there is no Moses to find it. So, the kafir, when he behaves as a Muslim ought to behave, certain rules and regulations, prosper, he must prosper. He is, as the Shair says, Deen kafir, fikr tadbir o jihad, Deen kafir, fikr, tadbir o jihad, Deen mullah fi sabilillah fasad. So, if this is what you are doing, you get the fruits of your fasad. The other guy is thinking, planning, scheming. He's thinking about landing on the moon. Kennedy, 10 years before they landed on the moon, they said within the next 10 years, we will land on the moon. And they did it. There's a law. Allah is telling you about the law in the Quran. You see, He's telling you about His law in the Quran. You read it, but you don't implement it, you don't understand anything. Ya ma'ashar al-jinn wal-ins, He's telling you. Say, oh, gathering of jinn wal-ins, it's of jinns and man. أن استطعتم من أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان. It says, penetrate to the regions of the heavens and the earth. But you cannot penetrate except by His permission. Talking about penetrating the regions of the heavens and the earth when they even had invented an ox wagon wheel, a wagon wheel. Talking about penetrating regions of heaven and earth. Allah is telling you 1400 years ago that you can penetrate, but by His permission. So you go to seek His permission. How do you get His permission? So, हम 5 वक्त नमाज पढ़ते हैं? No, that's not the permission. What? रोजा रखते हैं? Fasting? Permission. License. How do you get license? Your driving license. Because you are a namazi. You're a tahajjud gazar. Why? How do you get your license? So number one, you can read signs, you can read notices, your eyes are all right, physically you are okay, you know the rules of the road, and you can drive, and you pass your test, you get your license. Whether you are a Hindu, whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Muslim or an atheist. That's the law of the country. You have to pass through certain tests, you got your license. In my country also, business, certain requirements, get your license. This other thing, get your license. You want to penetrate the regions of the heaven, you want to go to the moon, get your license. License? How do you get your license? Knowledge. How are you going to land, get onto the moon? Number one is propulsion. You must know everything about propulsion. You must know about the fuse that you can use. You must know about the gravity around the earth. To get out of this gravity, what do you need? And then when you land on the moon, let's say you landed there, they say, well, once you got out of this gravity, it's all plain sailing. You know, without any energy, you'll keep on moving in whatever direction. With a little jet here and jet there, you can reach your target. No fuel expense. MashaAllah. Now you land on the moon, you know what's going to happen? As soon as you come out of your capsule, if you are in the sunny side, 2 minutes your blood boils, finished. There won't be anybody to come back to tell you what went wrong, what went wrong. So while the guy is sitting on his backside here, he knows about the heats and vapors of the uttermost planets in the universe. He knows that when he lands on the moon and he is sitting on a chair with one of his legs in the light and the other in the shade, the one in the light, the blood will boil in 2 minutes. It's dead. The one in the shade, 2 minutes will be frozen because there is no atmosphere there. Oh, he knows all that. So now, he says, now to get a license to go there, now you need some clothing, some covering that will save me from the heat and save me from the cold. And then look, I'll be gone for so many days and I can't take this thing out to pass, to excrete and to urinate. To uske liye ye intizam karo, wo intizam karo. He did everything and then he said, right, now we press the button. Allah gave him the license to go whether he's a believer or a non-believer. This is his law. So you follow the law, you reach your destination. That other guy, the kafir is following certain laws. He's getting the fruits. You don't. Allah is telling you to look at the birds. The only birds you watch, they call bird watching in the English language. They say when you look at women, that's called bird watching. Allah is telling you to look at the birds. You look at the birds, it means study the birds. Look at the camel. You look at the camel. No, the white man is doing it. He was telling you about the camel, everything. You do it. He's telling you what to do. And you don't touch this book. You don't know this book. This book is a closed book to you. That guy, without reading the book, is following instruction. So he gets the fruit. You own the book. Make a tawiz around your neck. It's only a dead weight, millstone you're going to carry around your neck. Get the instruction. Follow the instructions and see what Allah does to you. Yes, my son.
What is the responsibility of all individuals?
Yes, that's his first question. Let me answer that. Let me answer that first question. What is the responsibility of all individuals? I said the responsibility is according to your capacity. You have a feeling what you should do to improve the ummah, that's your responsibility. You don't come to change me, don't go to change the tablighi fellow, right? Don't go to try and change the secularist. Whatever you have in mind that should be done, you do that job. You are an expert. You are the fittest man Allah has created for that job. You are a coward, you want to pass it on to somebody else. You say, they have a problem. What about that? And what? I said, look, you are the guy. This guy comes to me, a Dr. Parvez in Peshawar, he says, the communist is the problem. I said, right, you are the guy, you Dr. Parvez, you must tackle the communists. In other words, he's telling me, leave the Christians, man. Go and tackle the Russian. I said, look, what you trying? I said, did the Russian come and give you Das Kapital? He says, no. I said, look, the Christians is giving Bible to my people. He's harassing my people. He's giving this book. I show you all the evidence. So I'm involved in that. You think about the communists, you are the fittest man to give Bible. But you coward, you want to pass it on to me. This is what's the trouble with us. You want to pass everything on to me. You say, look, what about this? I say, yes, what about that? You are the guy. Why don't you go to the villages? Why don't you go among those untouchables? Why don't you talk to them? You're running to Africa with the Tablighi Jamaat. Foreign exchange. You're wasting foreign exchange. You got problems here. The Muhajirs and the Pakhtuns are fighting like cats and dogs, killing one another. They are stealing your children here. And what you want to do in Africa? Having a jolly good time. So I said, look, you do your job at home. You say this is to be done, you are the man. And everybody, don't pass the buck. Passing the buck. is the oldest game in the world. Passing responsibility. Uska kaam hai, ziya nahi karta hai, wo nahi karta hai. I said, what are you doing? What are you doing? That professor should be doing that. I said, what are you doing? So the answer is, you, everyone who's got some thoughts, you are the fittest person for that job Allah has created. But you don't want to take that honor, that responsibility. You want to pass the buck, which is the most cowardly thing to do. And we are all cowards by nature. We are cowards, all of us. We want to pass. I want somebody else to take the pill for me. I want somebody else to carry the burden for me. That is Christianity. You, Muslim, carry your own burden.
You told me that I have to do my own responsibility, but what is responsibility? You see, you have to think, what is responsibility?
Your responsibility is whatever is coming to your mind. The very fact that you stood up to tell me, you had something in mind to tell me, that is your responsibility of doing that job. Whatever you had in your mind. Do they stop you from talking to your fellow students? Do they? That you can't talk? I'm sure you're talking a lot of things which they don't want to hear. But nobody's monitoring you. There's no spies sent upon you. Can't you share your thoughts with your brethren? He said, look man, the trouble with us is we don't know the Quran. Why don't we know the Quran? He said, look, the system of education where we are taught like parrot. We have learned the Quran parrot fashion. This system was a beautiful system for new converts. 200 to 400 years ago, my ancestors were converted by the Arabs. And they taught us a quick way of becoming Muslims or joining them in Salat. So they made us to learn, my ancestors, the elders, to learn by sound. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen and a few small surahs. Then the children, they set a system for them, left one of those sailors behind, is to teach his children, it says Alif, Be, Te, Se, Alif, Ba, Ta, Sa, and this is Alif and Fatha. We used to say Alif, Zabar, A, Be, Zabar, Ba, Te, Zabar, Za, A, Ba, Ta, Alif, Lam, Zabar, Allah, Alif, Zabar, La, Allah, that's how I learned. Be, Lam, Zabar, Bal, Lam, Alif, Zabar, La, Balla, Talla, Salla, and we learned to produce the sound, and according to that system, I learned what I have learned. I can produce the sound. And everybody, non-Arab, produces the sound without understanding a word. That was a beautiful system for new converts. I said, look man, we are already Muslims for 200 years, 400 years, 1,000 years, some of you claim. And you are still treated as a new convert. The system you are following is a system for new converts. So why don't you talk? Then now you will become the education minister one day. He said, look, what is this? What is this? What kind of system is this? That there's no language on earth you learn without understanding. No language. It's a unique system the Muslims have of learning the Quran without understanding a word. It's a unique disgrace. Why can't you stop that? And you think that your ustad will stop you from doing that? Telling the others, say, look man, what is this? What has happened to us? Ask to the Maulvi Sahib, maybe your uncle. He's a Maulvi. Talk to him and say, what is this? This is a system for new converts, man. When will we become Muslims? I was treated as a new convert, my son was treated as a new convert, and my grandchildren are still being treated as new converts. I want to know when they'll become Muslims. They'll never be. In 1,000 years, the Pakistani will never be a Muslim in your system of educating the Quran. You'll ever be a new convert unless you put on your... What is this, man? You mean to say that your doctors and lawyers and your alims can't see that? Maybe they can't. It's your job. You see it. He says, look, man, we must rectify. System, change the system. The Jews, in 25 years, they made Hebrew a dead language to come alive. A language that was dead for 2,000 years. In 25 years, every Jew coming from all parts of the world, speaking different languages, they all have mastered Hebrew. And they made Hebrew a language of science in the Hebrew University. A dead language. Arabic is a living language. You and I, every Urdu-speaking person at least knows 40% of Arabic without knowing it. 40% of Urdu is Arabic. 40% of Persian is Arabic. You start with the capital, 40%, and you can't speak the language. You can't learn the language. There's something wrong, man. Something wrong with your system or with your imagination. You haven't got it. So you deserve to be where you are. No imagination. Deen kafir, fikr, tadbir jihad. You are busy. Fi sabilillah fasad. Jaga. So look, you are, therefore I said I want the students to ask questions, because my elders might come along, they have an urge, to get at me, I said, save me from them. I want you rather that you ask me something that I can tell you, look, these are my feelings. You have to change. To unify the Muslims of Pakistan, you need a common language. And that common language is not Urdu. I love Urdu. One of my alim said, if Allah Bari Ta'ala chose a language other than Arabic for the Quran, it would have been Urdu. And I agree with him. But I say, Urdu is not your solution. Urdu is not your solution. I love the language. Wallah, I love it. It's not my language, but I love it. I prefer it to my Gujarati. It's a Banya language. See? But I say, Urdu can't solve your problem. Sindhi can't solve your problem. Pushtu can't solve your problem. You need a common language. And that common language is the language of the Quran, language of Allah, language of Jannah. And you already know 40%. And if you can't exploit that, I say they are lunatics of the highest order. You are lunatics, then you deserve destruction. With 40% capital, you can't learn a language. What has happened to you? And you listen to at least 52 pre-khutbah talks. Khutbahs in Arabic, at least, if you don't go for Salat 5 times a day. And every Muslim knows some portion of the Quran in Arabic. You used to hearing Arabic, Arabic, Arabic. You speak Arabic words. And now yet you can't make Arabic your language. Arabic, had it been followed from the beginning, in 1950, there was Islamic conference in Karachi. Heads of states came. I was there in Karachi at that time, not at the conference. And the late Aga Khan, the old man, you know, the champion racehorse owner, the Aga Khan, the late Aga Khan, he was also called because he had certain prestige. He has a community following and a rich man. He was supposed to deliver a lecture. For his health reason, he couldn't, so he sent a speech, which was read out to the conference. The speech said that Arabic must become the lingua franca of Pakistan. If you want to keep Pakistan united, this guy man is talking in 1950. Who is a Ismaili Shia or a Khoja, you call it. You know, some of us, they say they're not Muslims. But that man is telling us, he said the thing that can keep Pakistan together is Arabic. Not Bengali, not Urdu, not Sindhi. Because why should the Bengali sacrifice his language for yours? I want to know. Your language is beautiful, Urdu. But my language, I love it. My mother tongue, there's nothing sweeter than that. And you want me, and we are a majority. And you say this is a democratic state. As a democratic people, we say, look, the majority says Bengali. Why not Bengali? Come on, be reasonable now. No, but you don't like it. It hasn't got culture. I said, look, we are the majority of the people. We'll learn, get culture and everything we'll be able to do in Bengali. Give us a chance. He says, no, Urdu. Why must he sacrifice Bengali for Urdu? You tell me. But if you tell the Bengali, I said, look, man, we can only afford at government level 2 languages. We need English for certain reasons. And we need another language. And what better language than Arabic? Language of Allah, language of the Quran, language of Jannah, language of the Prophet, language of Islam. And it makes us one with the Arab world. We'll become all one people, man, one language. So what the Jews did in 25 years, we can do it in half the time. Because already we have a capital. And when you tell the Bengali to sacrifice Bengali for Arabic, he can't say no. When you tell the Sindhi, he says, look, Sindhi you teach at home. In your own time, teach Sindhi, teach Bengali, teach Gujarati, language of your choice, your mother tongue, you teach. But at government level, Arabic and English, wallah, you've got unanimity on that. But the Urdu-speaking people, the vested interest of Urdu, everyone has a vested interest. So you have your vested interest, I have a vested interest. Now, if you want to change the national language of Pakistan, let's say from English to French or German, no man, what qualifications I have? I said, no, English. Why English? Because that's my capital. I don't want to lose my capital. I don't want to start learning a new language. So I fight for English. Similarly, you Urdu speaking, you fight for Urdu. Natural. But it's not the solution to your problem. Even now, it's not the solution to your problem. I'm reading as soon as I arrive here, first language. Should it be Urdu? I'm reading in your newspaper. Urdu, Sindhi, or Pushto. And ... question mark. And what? Man, you're dividing the people. After 40 years, you haven't even decided on a language. And you want to solve problems. You want to become one nation. How can you be one nation? You can never be. But if your child from school, he says, starts speaking Arabic, say, Ma ismuka, he says, my name is Ahmed, and so, you're talking, after 25 years, or the next generation, he says, what's your name? He said, my name is Muhammad Ali. He said, where you come from? No, I don't know, I'm from here. Say, no, 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 your fathers, where did they come from? From UP, CP, Delhi? He said, look, I don't know all that. I'm a Pakistani and I'm a Muslim. Shh, one people. Still, now it's not too late. It's rather late than never. There's a saying in Urdu, कि जब ही जागे तभी सवेरा. Whenever you wake up, it's your morning. Don't go back to sleep. But you can do the job. You can talk. You can talk. I'll be gone just now tomorrow. You can talk and create an awareness of the injustice that you're doing to the nation by this spiritualism. You want to be your nation, your language. So Iqbal says, जो करेगा इम्तियाज रंगो खून मिट जाएगा तुर्की हरगाह हो या अराबी वाला जाए. Whosoever resorts to these distinctions of color and blood will perish, though he may be a majestic Turk or a blue-blooded Arab. And we are not majestic Turks and nor are we blue-blooded Arabs. More chances of us being destroyed.
I'm sure you ومن يعتصم بالله فقد هدي الى صراط مستقيم. احمد كده المتطرف المتعصب. كيف نكافح الاسلام اذا كان هكذا حاله؟
I think if I got it right, the question is that in Muslim countries, people are not given the freedom to propagate the faith. I think, is that yes. Well, you see, I don't know how I can solve your problem. But in South Africa, we solved our problem. We are less than 2% of the population. The Muslims of South Africa, less than 2%. But we have won a freedom of religion, second to none in the world. There isn't a country on earth which gives us better religious freedom than South Africa. It's a racist country. We have racist laws, economically, politically, from every point of view, we are being discriminated against. But religiously, we enjoy a freedom second to none. We have been fighting the government, cases, and we win against the government. I don't know, that's the constitution of my country. I wrote a book. Many books I have written about comparative religion. One of them is crucifixion or crucifixion. Crucifixion, the first crucifixion is F-I-X-I-O-N, means to fix a man on the cross and kill. The second fiction is cruci, F-I-C-T-I-O-N, fiction, means fairy tale, kissa kahaniya. So in English it rhymes beautifully, crucifixion or crucifixion. You think it's the same, but the spelling tells you the different meaning. And this, somebody brought to the notice of the Director of Information, our censorship board. So look, this book is a very, very dangerous book for our religion in the country. It must be banned. So the director reads it and he instructs his board. The director instructs his board in Pretoria. The director lives in Cape Town. He instructs his board, ban the book. The board, with two priests on the board, they go through the book and they agree that this is a very potent book, very damaging book against the foundation of our faith, because the only real thing, the only thing, imaginable thing that they have in their sales point against Islam or any religion is that Christ died for your sins. And this guy is exploding the myth. Very dangerous. They agree that that is so, but according to the rules of the land, it can't be banned. You can't ban it. It doesn't infringe any laws. He doesn't sneer at the other people's belief. There is a law. You are not allowed to sneer. No, he's just putting forth his case. No doubt he makes a point, very damaging, but nothing we can do. So the director of publication goes on appeal against his own board. Look, there's a system. The director is going on appeal against his own board. Now he's going to hire a QC, a Queen's Counsel, a senior counsel, to fight for him against the board. His own board to tell him, ban the book. So for the first time they call us to tell us, look, this is what has transpired, and now we will not play the devil's advocate on your behalf. You must come and fight your own case if you want to. So we go and fight the case, and we win against the government. In other words, there must be ways and means. If you are prepared to, we are prepared to pay the price. Our people in politics there in South Africa, the Muslims, who are less than 2% of the population, they have made more than 20% of the sacrifices in the political struggle. You see, you don't hear. You hear about Mandela, Biko, but you don't hear that there was Imam Abdullah Harun. He died in prison. Ahmed Timol died in prison. Ahmed Hafiz, he died in prison. They don't die of sickness. They're beaten to death. More than 20% of the people who die in prison are Muslims. Why? Because they are fighting for their rights. If you don't learn to fight, if you don't learn to sacrifice, then you get what you are getting. This is your own choice. In your own country, in your own motherland, an Islamic state like Indonesia, the Muslim got no say. I said, you deserve destruction. You say 120 million Muslims, and the Christian can walk roughshod over you, and you can do nothing about it. There's something wrong with you. That's all. You deserve what you are getting. That is my answer. Wherever you are getting what you deserve.